My name is Pragat Singh.
My name is Gurpreet Singh.
Hi, my name is Sukdeep Kaur.
And this is the card I'll be using. Warren Buffett once said that if we don't stop buying the things that we don't need, we soon will have to start selling the things that we actually do need. Sadly, this is the reality of many Americans today as we enter adulthood and make bad financial decisions every single day of our lives. And this is impacting our future, our kids' future, and even the future generations in the future. Millions of Americans have accumulated over trillions of dollars into debt, and especially young adults who are vulnerable to the rising cost of living, high interest rates, and buy now, pay later services targeting them every single day. Learning how to manage money is not really a financial skill, but a life skill that sadly many of us don't learn in school or even into our 20s and 30s. Today, I want to convince you that Americans need to start taking personal finance and money management more seriously. First, I will discuss the problems caused by poor financial habits. Second, I'll explain why these problems exist. And third, the solutions that we can all adopt into our lives to make better financial decisions. First, poor financial habits are very common and sadly very common and a very persistent part of our lives in America. People think of taking debt as a secondary nature over buying things with their own money. Federal Reserve reported in August 2023 that the overall debt in America for credit cards has accumulated over $1 trillion. So think about it. This is $1 trillion with a T that all of Americans have in debt combined. Many are overwhelmed by this, and this makes it even harder for them to live and purchase things on a daily basis. Buy now, pay later services encourage overspending, as you can just buy a thing that you can buy for a few $100s. Now you can just pay in installments. However, according to CNBC report of 2023, 1/3 of young adults miss their first payment of BNPL, or they're not able to pay it back in full by the end of the term, which only leads to more borrowing. Poor financial habits and debt is also a cause of stress, anxiety, and long-term instability. According to American Psychological Association of 2022, money is still the #1 cause of stress among American families. I just explained major problems caused by poor financial habits. Second, I will explain why these problems exist. Americans continue to struggle with debt, how to handle their credit cards, how to handle their money, and there are several reasons to this why. First, schools don't teach us about personal finance as much as they should. According to Pew Research Center 2022, they explained that fewer than half of Americans ever receive any formal education for personal finance, which later results in them entering adulthood without any prior knowledge of how to handle such vast amount of money that they get when they start doing jobs and how to avoid a bad debt. Credit card companies design their system to trap people into just getting into even more debt. According to Consumer Financial Protection Bureau of 2023, minimum payments are there to only extend the amount of time that you're in debt. So if you have started a trend of getting into debt with one financial or credit card company and you're only making minimum payments, it's more likely that you'll continue to do this for years to come and be trapped in the debt cycle for the rest of your life. High interest rates make it even harder to make the payments, as an average of 23 to 25% of interest rates on credit cards has become a norm these days. Social media always also pressures us to buy things that we don't actually need. So all the trending stuff that we see online, we tend to just get into the height of it, try to buy it, even though we don't have the money to buy it. And this only leads to even more bad financial habits and more bad purchases that you don't have the money to afford. And then later, you don't have the money to pay off the debt that you bought the thing in the first place. Forbes reported in 2023 that in their money behavior study that lifestyle comparison on social media leads to most impulse purchases than any other cause for buying the things on impulse online or even when you're at stores. And influencer culture only normalizes it more to make more poor financial habits, poor financial decisions with all the trending things that people post online, and then people just tend to copy it with the money that they don't actually have. I've just explained why we struggle with debt. Third, I will discuss some solutions that we can all adopt to make better financial habits. First, schools can implement personal finance classes into our education system to teach young adults how to manage their money so they are ready to enter adulthood with prior knowledge of how to handle their money responsibly. The government systems can also regulate companies that target consumers and protect their consumers from predatory lending services. Today, I wanted to explain to you why Americans need to take personal finance and financial and money management more seriously. I first explained why we have these problems. First, I explained the main causes of poor financial habits. Second, why we have these problems. And third, the solutions that we can all implement. So Warren Buffett's message is simple. If we don't start controlling our money, it will control us. And that leads to a very terrifying financial future for every single American. And we need to start taking money management more seriously before our money takes control of us. Thank you.